Hi everyone, I'm Edyta Sitar from Laundry Basket Quilts. Welcome to Quilting Window Live. We had so much fun last 2 weeks working on our beautiful mystery quilt, and ta-da! That's the reveal. Isn't it stunning? I hope you enjoyed it. So for last 2 weeks we have been working on the blocks every day. We started with something super simple, that we moved on to something a little bit more difficult, 2 pieces. You have been a champions in making your blocks. I am so proud of you. Uh, just words cannot describe. And now it's time to put your blocks together. So if you just joining us in and you missed the mystery, yes, the mystery blogs will stay online. You can download the PDFs anytime you want it. They're gonna be forever and ever sitting there waiting for you to find that perfect fabric and get the courage to do something simple and something fun and new and exciting. So please, you can still join in and enjoy it. And also our live show, we're gonna keep it so that way on our YouTube channel, so that way you can come in and look at all these fun things. Save your questions. Erin is gonna be gathering them, and during later on in the show, I'm gonna answer some questions that you have about the mystery quilt. But first, I want to just go over what you do next with your blocks. So on our blog on Monday, I posted all the steps what you need to do. But it's always nice to see me, isn't it? Yeah, it's so much better in person, and I have to tell you, it's now 6 weeks since I have broke my leg, and it is a treasure to come here and just be able to communicate and get your questions. So I look forward to live shows and being with you. Stay tuned for the whole show, because guess what? We have some fun prizes coming up, and I have something really special to share with you, something from my personal life, and I can't wait to share it with you because you guys are my community, you my friends. So I wanted to tell you some things that are happening to me right now. Let's go and finish our quilt. So we made all these blocks. We made 12 different blocks. We followed the layout to arrange our blocks in this beautiful slice of a pie. It's a 1/8 of a quilt. There will be 4 sets like this, and 4 with the alternative center block. So this is the center block. So you're gonna make 4 like this and 4 like this, okay? Once you lay your blocks out, one of the most important things in any quilting is, when you cut, when you sew, when you finish, square out your blocks. So you're gonna go ahead, take your blocks for the ones that you pieced, like this, and you're gonna either take your ruler, put it over, and square things up. So just trim it around, and we were doing this as we were going. And also it's very important that you mark the sewing points right here. Mark the sewing points. That is gonna be really good for you to do it if you're using Alaska ruler. And now look at it, how many different variation of blocks you have done with that ruler. And Erin and myself are working on a blog for you guys to show you all these individual blocks, what kind of arrangements you can make with them. You going to love. You actually, by learning the 12 different units, you now can make 12 different beautiful quilting blocks in a kaleidoscope arrangement, and you can go ahead and enjoy it and work on them in your time, make table runners to match your big quilt. It's gonna be fun. So now you take a ruler, and again, it's very important that you go ahead and trim your blocks to the right size. All the blocks should be 6.5 inch tall, or if they're not, we need to reconsider what happened. So it's good for you to take a peek on the back and check that your 1/4 inch seam allowances were the right way and what happened. Little advice, if you are noticing that all your blocks are a little bit smaller, then figure it out what is the average size for your blocks, and then trim them to that size. But if they're a little bit bigger, bring them down a little bit, down to 6.5. I like that because then you have time to trim, but be careful that you don't sacrifice your seam allowance when you're trimming it, so you're not gonna lose a seam allowance. But no less, I think a lot of you have been working on the blocks. I've been watching your posts and the blocks look great. And guess what? Practice makes perfect. So if you make your first one and you're a little fussy about it, please don't give up. Please do not give up. You need to make at least 3 to 6 blocks to start getting the rhythm and be good in it. When you were a kid, when you stood up, you didn't just stood up and walk. You stood up, fell, got up again, fell, got up again, and keep going till you learn to walk perfectly. And now the same with quilting. You just have to repeat it over and over. So if you have little falls, pick yourself back up and keep going. Keep making your blocks, because this is how you're gonna make the quilt. Okay, we finish our blocks. We're gonna lay them out to the right layout. We talked about it. The next step, we're gonna sew them into the rows. So notice, row 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When I'm sewing my blocks into the row, I take one row at a time, and I love to use my marks for my Sew Daisy fabric markers, because I pick all my blocks, clip them together, and then I know at my sewing machine that I'm sewing that row. And how I'm going to do this, I'm gonna place my pieces right sides together. Remember, I marked it for myself, and this one, oh, I wanted to bring this back up. Look at it, I still have to finish trimming mine, and notice it, my top point is not trim on that block, so I have to trim this right up. So once I do that, it's going to be nice and easy for me to go ahead, whoops, don't do this upside down, grab it, right sides together, just like this, match the points that you have drew on it, and put your pin. And we have showed this many times. I've showed it to you many times. And you're going to do the same thing. And what it's important that you, when you put your pin in, you put it through the point you marked, and you're going to make sure that it comes out through a point you mark on this piece. So that way it's nice and even. And I tell you what, with first 2 or 3, you get the groove, how to position your pieces. You're going to start sewing from the top, straight down, flip it open. You're gonna keep the seams open between your blocks. Why am I doing this? Because I want the least bulk possible. So I'm gonna go that route, and I'm gonna keep my seams nice and open. I'm gonna sew first row, second row, third row, then I'm gonna sew my rows together with pinning and matching constantly. Lots of pin, pin, and pin. Lot of pinning, and I just sew, sew, and sew, and now I'm gonna have a 1/8 of my quilt, and I'm gonna have 4 with a dark blue center and a 4 with a light blue center. Okay, the most exciting part is now we're gonna put our units into the quilt. I'm gonna need this fabric now. Remember, I asked you to purchase 1 yard of this fabric. I asked you to purchase a yard so you can have options if you want to be a little fussy cut, and in case you want a little extra for maybe small project. But with 1 yard, you have plenty of fabric. You're gonna cut 4 half square triangles for your corners of your quilt. Notice my corner on the quilt right here. Do you see it? Right there. The measurements are right there on our website. On the blog, I have the measurements for the corner of your quilt is 18.5 inches, and you're gonna cut a square, and you're gonna cut the square once diagonally. But I want to show you something. I'm going to take my pieces off the table because I want to show you something, because you can go ahead and just cut a random square, and that's what I did on the quilt on your on the website. On my blog, I just created one that I wasn't like really paying attention and being particular about where the stars fall on my corners. So you can go ahead and just cut 18.5 strips. From the strips, cut 2 squares 18.5 and random cut it, and don't worry about where the little stars are. But if you like to be a little bit more fussy in cutting, you can do something like this. You can go ahead and get this awesome ruler from Creative Grids. This is 18.5 coincident, and I'm gonna go ahead and place this ruler on my stars, and I'm gonna find a point that pleases my eye. So look at this, what I'm doing. I'm taking my ruler and I'm placing it right there, and what I'm looking for, where my stars are aligning behind there in that square. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I'm gonna have two side stars. The seam is gonna go right over here because I'm gonna cut it later on, right in half, right there. So it's gonna be great. I'm gonna have a star here, and I'm gonna end up with a row of stars right here. You can go that way, or you can go ahead and move your, that's why I wanted you to have a yard of fabric, so you have that option. Or you can go ahead and move yourself a little bit further and center star in the middle of your ruler, okay, in the middle of your ruler. And when I did that, I noticed, and look at this, you only need 2 squares out of this yard. 2 squares, so you could be fussy. Be careful, don't cut your first square in the middle of your yard. Make sure you shift it and move it, so that way you have it exactly where you want it, and you plan things out. So right there, you're gonna have a center in the middle, and look, I got a row of stars like this right here, and that's what I did. I went and got a star in the middle, and that way I knew when I sew it, this star is gonna end up, I'm gonna try to lift myself up a little bit, you know.
They can only see the bottom.
Oh, you guys only can see the bottom. Michael just told me you cannot see the top. That's okay, perfect. So look at this. I matched that half of the star right here, and now I have a cute little stars going this way. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you, Michael, for helping me. So right there, look at this. So fussy cutting this piece of fabric could give you such amazing results, because I know you work hard and now you worn out from, all of this work. You want a little bit speed things up. You want to put your quilt together. So this little, we call it cheetah panel, or I call it convenient panel, is going to be great for you to cut it, fussy cut it, match it up, pin it. And this is going to be half square triangle, where you add this half square triangle to 4 corners of your quilt, and you're gonna add this before you sew all your pieces together, before you sew the wedges together. And I explained this exactly on the website, so if I misspoke and you don't understand, do not worry. I have it all written down for you step by step. This is just to help you understand that you can take this panel and cut it in a really fun way. Some of you have purchased more than a yard. You purchased 3 yards of this fabric, and I am so excited for you, because you can do so much more with it. You can go ahead and add another border to the quilt if you would like to do this. So let's don't jump ahead. First, just let's cut 4 half square triangles. We're going to take the half square triangles, sew it to the 4 corners. We're sewing to the panel that has a light diamond in a point. So this is how you're going to remember. Remember, this is so important, and it happens to me too. When you're sewing such a large half square triangle, it is huge that you pin. And I pin the middle, and I put a bunch of pins because there is a bias right here, and I don't want my corner to like pull it apart, and then the quilt is not gonna be square. So I pin it really nice, and then I sew it. Once I finish sewing the triangles, I'm going to sew this to this, and I'm gonna repeat it 4 times, because I need this to this to this, and keep going that way. So I have 4 sets of 2 wedges of my quilt, the dark diamond one and the light diamond one. Okay, and in a picture on the blog I showed you both of them. Once you sew them together, you're gonna open the seam. Make sure that when I was sewing right here, I pin every point where my colors were matching. So I want that to be really nice. I pay attention to it and pin it. If it's off, make sure you pin it and adjust a little bit. I think you're gonna be just fine if you have followed the steps: cut, then trim, and then keep going. Once you have this sewn, then you're gonna go ahead and sew two units like this together. That is gonna give you half of the quilt. Once you have the two halves, again, a lot of pinning from the center out. We sew that whole seam, and I have my quilt center put together. I made the choice of adding additional border because I love this fabric. And what I did, I took the remaining fabric and then I cut myself long strips, and I cut them this way. So right there, following the savage edge this way, okay? Once I cut myself a strip, and I cut my strip at 5.5 inches, I was not paying attention to the, notice there's like stars right there, and it has a light background. When I designed this panel, I on purpose designed it that it's a block and it's a light background. Why? Because it gave me so much more option to cut it. I can cut it here, I can cut it here, I can cut it up to here to make a border. Do you see? I can come up all the way to the other stars and have my stars be center up, because this is so faded to the background that if I lose a point on those little block, and you know with panels, it's screen printed, so if the fabric shifts or move, you cannot focus so much on matching those points. I only focus on the dark image of my stars. I want them in the center of my 5.5 inch row. So I cut it, and then I went ahead and I pinned it to my quilt, and I centered up right on my quilt. So I took my stars, centered up in the middle, and sewed it. Michael is coming to help me a little bit.
I'm just going to move this.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. So can we see this border?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Michael. So notice it. I fold my border in half, and I centered up right here. And I sewed my stars, and it was when I laid my border, coincident, I noticed he matched it up really nice with the stars that I had it in my corners. If your stars are not matching, do not fear. I'm telling you, once you sew it and with the quilting, and because there is light in between, you don't see the matches. I did lose some of the points of the actual block. I was not stressed about it. Sometimes you don't have control over everything. You have to go with the flow. To me, just adding these fun stars around it was so rewarding. I didn't focus exactly that everything had to be perfect. When I piece, yes, I focused that it's the best I can do at this moment. With a broken leg, I'm doing the best I can do. I'm not setting myself on perfection, and we need to remember that sometimes. So once I sewed the sides of my quilt, then I added top and the bottom, and the quilt was finished. I just center up those borders, and you easily get 4 panels. Look at it. This is just beautiful. So easily you can get 4 panels that are 5.5 inch out of the leftover of your fabric. And I went ahead and did that and added to the quilt just a little bit more. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this has been fun for you. I love that you join in, you tried, or at least watch. We had so many viewers joining in. I want to take a moment and tell you how thankful I am. The words cannot describe how you rally around me and make sure that you have done this with me and kept me busy for last few weeks. So I'm super, super thankful. And I also wanted to tell you I used a really nice backing on my quilt. If we do still have it, go grab it. It's on our website. If we did sold out of the backing, we have this beautiful fabric that it's also a nice panel, and it would be great for a backing for your quilt. And I used a wonderful binding on the quilt, and I used edge-to-edge quilting with the seaweed. Michael is really excited to be in front of the camera today. Hi, Michael. How are you doing? Say hi to the girls. Oh, I tell you, he's stealing the spotlight.
Hi,
see, there you go. He's so helpful, especially now. I'm so thankful I have Michael. So if you want it, we do have this fabric now. We have yardage on our website. If you like Bluebird, remember, if you're just joining us in, we use the Bluebird collection and we use the Fat Quarter bundles. If we sold out of the Fat Quarter bundles, we have the Fat 8 bundles left, and you can purchase 2 of the Fat 8s and still have amazing quilt. There may be a low areas that it's going to be a little bit more scrappy than mine, but notice that anybody that used the Fat Quarter bundle, you had plenty of fabric. I figured this out for you guys, so you can and then you had low leftovers, so the Fat 8s could work for you as well, but remember, you need 2 of them. There may be some areas that you're gonna swap some fabric, and if you're looking at my quilt, I did change one fabric in my quilt. I put a little bit different light right here because I really love that fabric, and it was before I did the directions for you, so I just kind of want to try it. And then when I did the directions for you, I went with just the cross stitch fabric because I knew you had plenty of it and you will enjoy it. So that one was that. There are other kits that we have from the Bluebird collection, and the girls put them right here in a basket for me. The Frontier kit is just beautiful. Then we have our Blue Jay, and this is something that I wanted to tell you. This is exciting. So Blue Jay Bay is made with our Fat Quarter bundle. So if we have sold out of Fat Quarter bundles, just buy Blue Jay Bay kit and you can still make this quilt, and you have a binding with it as well. So that's something I just noticed. I was like, what? Fat Quarter bundle from Bluebird? I want one, because they're gone. And speaking of one, I do have one right here. And in the end of our show, I'm going to share this one with you. We're going to have some questions for you and a little contest, and somebody's going to win a Fat Quarter bundle, and somebody's going to win my favorite yellow fabric markers. So please stay tuned. Let's keep watching, and I can't wait to ask you some questions and see if you remember what we were doing. Now, another fun kit is Cabin Fever. We have this one as well. And then I just noticed we have few of the Tahoe kits left. We just added them to the website. That's the Tahoe quilt. A lot of you guys love it. And guess what? I just finished another quilt based on that same idea that I did Tahoe with our Noel fabrics. And it is beautiful. Can't wait to show it to you. And there you go, our Milky Way. Isn't that just beautiful? So there are a few MOA kits if you wanted to. If you like this kind of fabrics, it's light, it's blue, it's beautiful. We do have fun patterns that come with that collections. So that's the Milky Way. We have the Cabin Fever, and we have that Blue Jay Bay. And then we have 2 other patterns that I brought it today. My favorite, the Holiday Forest, as well as the Be Mine, because they make me so happy right now. And we just got back in stock MOA of our Alaska rulers. So if you have not purchased one, you can go ahead and get one. Now you know how many awesome things you can do it. And like I said, we have another blog coming up. It's a blog that I want to say thank you to you and just inspire you a little bit MOA. And speaking of inspiring you, some of you have asked me, you know, how did I start quilting? Where did I learn how to quilt? Where all of this began? So my mom was the one that taught me how to sew, but it was my father-in-law's mom that taught me how to quilt, Grandma Sitter. And I want to just share with you a little bit of my personal story right now. When I got married to my husband, Michael, he introduced me to his grandma, Anna, and she was the one that welcomed me to her home. We got to live with her for a little bit, and she was the one that looked at me with not much hope in her eyes, and she said to me, if you're gonna live with me, you're gonna quilt with me. At that moment, a girl from Poland, I had no idea what quilting meant, and because we don't use quilts, we use pigeonas, and I had just looked at her and glanced it into her living room, where I noticed a blanket spread between two chairs. And I thought to myself, aren't you a little old to play tent? You know, and it was not a tent, it was a quilt that she had on two chairs, a frame, and she was hand quilting that quilt. Over the time, I became such a fan of what she was doing. I learned how to quilt, but I noticed something in my life. I had two biggest fans. My mother-in-law, Carol, and my father-in-law, Joe. So my father-in-law has been such a big part of my life. And his mom was the one that taught me how to quilt. But it was interesting that later on, I gifted my father-in-law with a sewing machine. He came one time to my studio and I had an extra sewing machine. I'm like, Daddy, you love quilting. Why aren't you not doing? Because I noticed that he was sneaking in and using my mother-in-law's sewing machine. So I made the point to make sure that he had his own sewing machine. And guess what? He took that sewing machine and enjoyed it so much. And he has been making quilts one after another. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful quilts. Beautiful quilts. Those quilts are for him and mom would go to the nursing home and share the quilts with people that really need them at the nursing home, just bringing some joy and putting them on the laps as they were in wheelchairs, just, you know, visiting. And that was their mission. Mom and dad end up making those kind of quilts, hundreds of them. You would not believe it. Amazing. I am so lucky, because those quilts are baby size quilts too. I am so lucky. I got 3 of those quilts. I'm gonna share this with you on the back right here. Joe and Carol Sitar 2020. I have one more of them that I brought it up for you to see it. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? Just beautiful. Just beautiful. And just the inspiration now back from him, watching my father-in-law and my mother-in-law doing something so special. And in the tough times of getting old and, you know, things are not as they used to be, they find the joy of doing something nice for somebody else. Remember that poem that I always keep telling you about it? Life is full of froth and bubbles. 2 things stand strong. Kindness for others' trouble. Courage in your own. I'm sorry, guys. To make the point, we just lost our father-in-law. But we're gonna remember him by all the beautiful things and kindness that he did. I thank you today for the... Hi guys, I'm so sorry. It has been a tough few days, but I'm so thrilled I can share with you. And look at my Michael. He want to protect me in every possible way. So we have some questions about our mystery quilt, and I love to answer them for you. And also we have this fun contest that we have. So if you please have question, Erin, what do we have? Oh, I'm looking for my drink. I better grab my drink.
Yes, we do have quite a few
Awesome
questions, and also so much love coming in for you and the entire family. We just
thank you, guys. You are amazing. The comments, you know, not many people know that this just happened, but just the comments for last few weeks with, you know, what happened in Europe, in Ukraine, what happened in Poland, what happened, you know, in my personal life with me breaking my leg. It's just so nice to hear it, and I'm so thankful for you. Yeah.
an outpouring of love and support for you.
Thank you, Erin.
Yeah.
I knew I should have not put makeup on today.
That's okay. You still look beautiful. So yes, first off, everybody's loving the mystery quilts.
Yes.
They're just enjoying
Isn't
it.
it beautiful? Guys, I just recolored this quilt in the Noel because I'm doing the Tahoe in Noel collection and this one we just got Noel in. The greens, the lights, the reds. It's gonna be such a beautiful Christmas. I'm so excited for you. We're gonna have some fun projects for you to look at and get inspired.
Yes.
So what questions do we have? What problems the most you had? I want to help you because I'm excited for you to get this quilt made.
Okay, so far, no real problem questions, which is
Fantastic.
great.
Whoop, whoop.
But some advice needed. Susan would love to know if you had to join the border from two pieces, would she do that on the bias or straight stitch?
So I would probably straight stitch if I would join it because it's just to match it up. I think it would be easier than on a bias. So I would try it. I would first cut my borders and I would see how I can match on a bias. Maybe fold it, fold it on a bias and see if it's possible. I most likely would have done it straight. Yeah.
Okay, great. For now for the Alaska ruler, Roberta was wondering,
Yes.
are there any spots to easily mark in order to line up and stitch the block on that ruler?
Yes, yeah, really good questions. So look at it right here on a point, you have a mark point. So let me take one of the blocks. I would have go ahead, place it. I would have marked it right here. And then I would shift my ruler up, and notice it right here. Right there is a point that I would mark, and if you want to, you can trim off that little bunny ear. That was another question as we were making the blocks. A lot of you were asking, should I be trimming the little points down here and up here? Yes, follow the ruler, follow your template. There it is, there's my template. And I would place it and I would have trimmed those off because those are just the little extras that later on it's gonna be in your way. So just trim it nice, mark, pin it in the middle where the colors will match, and then go and sew. So I'm telling you what, this project and the next the Tahoe project that I just finished up last week, both I am so thankful for my glass head pins. Oh, I love those patchwork pins, the little patchwork pins that are so soft because I can pin it and just sew it, and when I open I'm like, yes, it is so much easier to pin than not pin enough, sew, and then you have to rip things up. So I rather pin it than have to later on go back.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Jody is, first of all, loving the bluebird fabrics.
Awesome.
And
Thank you, Jody.
She is actually going to make another one, but for her mom.
Yeah.
But she would love to get a suggestion in a red fabric line. What would you suggest, do you think?
So right now, the red fabrics that we have is our Little Sweetheart collection, and it is stunning. Little Sweetheart, but also, and maybe because I'm a little partial, I'm working with Noel right now, and I am crazy about that fabric, and I would have taken Little Sweetheart, take Noel, and mix them together because they're the pinks, the reds, so beautiful. In Noel you have some greens, but you have really nice backgrounds and yardage that it's just beautiful, and it makes really nice with Little Sweetheart. And what I love it about designing with Andover, that they're so cautious and so supportive of keeping all the color options, that I can take this fabric and match it up with my next collection, and I get even more beautiful range and hues, but it doesn't change the hues, it only changes the range of the colors. So really like that. And we do have another blue and white coming in, not now, in few months we're gonna have a brand new collection called Blue Escapes. Oh, it's so beautiful, so beautiful. So excited about that one for you guys.
A lot to look forward to. Gloria was wondering, for the backing, if they
Yes.
are going to do the added borders, how much backing did you end up using? Do you recall?
So hold on, let's figure this out quickly together. The center of the quilt is 60 by 60 and a half by 60 and a half. If we add 5.5 inch border, that's 5 in each side, so it would be 70 by 70 and a half, 70 and a half by 70 and a half. So uh, I would go for 4.5 because I like a little extra around it, especially for long arm quilting. But that's at the minimum. 4 yards would be close because it will only give you like an inch on each side if you put it on a frame, because 2 yards is 72 inches and so forth. So I would go 4.5.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Mary was wondering, will there be
Hello,
more?
Mary.
Will there be more of the star panel coming in?
Unfortunately, not at this time, but I know there's a lot of other places. You have your local quilt stores that we have the light panel. I'm gonna talk to Andover and see if the reprint, but at this moment we're completely sold out. I do have a little tiny surprise. We maybe have few kits coming in. So just keep your eyes open. Not right now. It's gonna be 2 weeks from now after our retreat. Next week we have an amazing retreat. 50 of my friends and quilters are coming in that I can't wait to see it. Did you see how I hug myself? Because they give me so many love, so much hugs. I cannot wait to see the girls, and we're gonna, after the retreat, we have a plan for a kit for this quilt. So stay tuned, and we want to see if what we can share with you.
Kathleen, not related to Mystery Quilt, but
Yes.
she was curious, can she mix the Lady Tulip with Seamstress collections?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, they go so nicely together, and there's so many cute pinks and greens, and Lady Tulip rotates more towards the green and pink, where a seamstress had more of the blues in it. So I think you'd be just fine mixing and matching
Good.
and collecting your favorites. I love what you guys do. You pull up my fabrics and you make this awesome combination, and sometimes I'm seeing like, why didn't I think of this? This is fabulous. I want to think of those things. So you guys are amazing. Keep going.
Now, for an Alaska ruler question,
Okay.
Mary O'Connell was wondering, what
Hi, Mary.
other quilts can she use with the Alaska ruler?
Oh, we already have so many wonderful patterns. So any of our like the Alaska pattern, you can use the ruler, but also I specially came up with a range of patterns, and there are more that it's coming in. Oh, I didn't want to tell you till I surprise you with it. I'm working on daffodils right now using this ruler. It is so stinking cute. It's so cute for the spring. But we have Escape, we have Frontier, we have Pillow. There's so many nice designs. Just what we're gonna do actually after the show, I'm gonna place pictures of different quilt with the Alaska ruler, so that way you know which designs you can do. I'm gonna start putting that on my website. So go, if you want to visit our website for the blog. We did a little blog about all the different things, and we will send out another newsletter about all the projects that you can do it with Alaska ruler. I think you guys gonna love this. But the next blog that I'm posting is showing you individual blocks that we just learned, that you can take just this beautiful piece and make it 8 times, and what is gonna come up from it. All the things that we have practiced through our mystery quilt, I want to show you now 12 different blocks that you can do it with the ruler. And now you just close your eyes and you're like, oh my gosh, I really love this. I'm gonna make blocks. I'm gonna make 12 of them. I'm gonna have a quilt. Or I'm gonna make 3 and make a table runner. So once you get the idea, this is what I wanted to do, inspire you. So make sure you visit our next blog. I'm hoping to post in the next few days, and then you have a nice inspiration and think of me. And I love to see your results, your quilts. Any other questions, Erin?
Yes. Kelly was wondering, for the panels, do you plan on having any other convenient panels in any other colors?
So at this moment, we had the blue and white, but we also have a panel with the cross stitch in our Noel collection. And I'm working on other things, so there will be a lot of fun panels. I think I don't want you to just take the panel and make a quilt. I want you to think out of the box, like, how can I add this as my border? Could this be the in between something that you piecing or appliquing? And this gonna help you enjoy and do quilts or use on your back, so they're just as special and dream on something that you're gonna do. So it gives I think the panels are give a nice finish to the quilt and add something more. So we're definitely gonna work on more of those kind of printed panels for you guys.
Perfect. For Bluebird layer cakes, are there
Yes.
any specific patterns that would work well with a layer cake for Bluebird?
Starting with number one, free pattern on our website. One of my personal favorite. We have a star pattern that uses layer cake. I recolored that pattern in so many different options for you guys. It is so cool, so quick. So you can use that one. Then a layer cake is in this quilt right here. The Milky Way pattern uses layer cakes. So this pattern right here, it's so pretty. Just simple saw to star, and inside I give you direction how to cut from the layer cakes. So that's a nice idea, and maybe that's something that we need to play around with it and send out in our newsletters. Layer cake patterns, so that way it kind of connects you guys where you can find your inspiration for the beautiful fabrics that you buy. So we so much appreciate.
Great. Let's see here. One other question.
I'm
And-
so excited. Erin has so many fun questions. She's like, I have another one. I have another one. I'm so looking forward to it.
Well, even though we just ended Mystery Quilt on Saturday,
Yeah.
Miss Carrie is super enthusiastic and wanting to know when the next Mystery Quilt is.
So the next mystery quilt, I don't want to set too high goals for myself right now, because as you notice, I'm healing, but it's not gonna heal overnight. So I have to put the time to heal. But I am planning your next mystery and working on it. And my personal goal is to treat you for something super special for Mother's Day. We started just like we always do it. We always do it around the Mother's Day week. So sometimes at that time, I'm gonna be showing you the next mystery. It's nothing something out of the box this time. This was out of the box and was a little bit more difficult. And I want to once again thank all my customers that have purchased the ruler and wanted to quilt with me, because this is why I did the mystery. For all you guys that purchased the ruler without knowing what you're going to be making with it, now you have a concept, you can do things, you can enjoy it, and I wanted to treat you for something super special. The next mystery we're going to do it is going to be just simple blocks. I have something fun prepared. It's just the time to make the quilt, to quilt it, to film it. I have to tell you, it was not easy for me to, with a broken leg, to film all of the videos. So that's the obstacle that I'm trying to overcome right now, to prep the things, but also be able to sit down and film for a long time. So a little bit at a time. I'm glad I'm here today, and one day at a time. That's what I'm planning to do for now, and get better and plan out to inspire you guys with the next mystery.
Can you just run through the quilts behind you?
Oh, absolutely. Michael wanted me to point it to his favorite quilt. It's the heart quilt. He loves this quilt. So this one is our Be Mine quilt. We did it with a jelly roll, and I have a new collection of patterns that are coming out one after the other. We did a hard quilt, then we did our tree is with jelly roll, and I just finished Lemoyne Star. It's on them. I'm pointing this way because that's where my quilting machine is, my long arm machine, and I'm going to be quilting that one next, and we're gonna do a little live video how I make that quilt. And then we have a little Irish chain quilt that it's so cute. So we have few jelly roll quilts now, and this one is also jelly roll friendly, and this one is the Little Bear. So I love that one, and this one is also from our Bluebird collection. So those are the quilts that I have available behind me, and of course our mystery quilt. And now we have a contest. I wonder if any of you noticed I have left a little egg clues around my blog, maybe templates, maybe some places. What is the name of our mystery quilt this year? Does anybody know the name of our mystery quilt? Did anybody catch that? I have left some clues for you guys. Think templates. Do we have answers?
I have
The-
a feeling it's about to come rolling in.
Yes, the person that knows the name of our mystery. And you,
Susan Whitlock.
Susan, you won.
Montana.
Yes. Awesome. You won a Fat Quarter bundle from our Bluebird collection. And what is so special about this bundle, this is the last one we have. This is my bundle and you get to have it, so you can either make this quilt or make any of the Bluebird quilts or just enjoy it or maybe share it with a friend. Because remember the message today that we want to pass on? Be kind to each other. Kindness in others' trouble. So if you see a friend that need a little boost, maybe that's what you wanted to do. So make sure you leave a comment where we need to send this bundle. But Susan, congratulations. Now, did we...
Yeah, go ahead and email us, and if you don't have our email, it's support@laundrybasketquilts.com.
Fantastic. Email us at support@laundrybasketquilts.com, because that's where we can get your information and package this beautiful bundle and send it to you. I have 3 more prices, and my second question for you is, was there a second person that answered what is the name?
Oh, lots.
Lots, guys, you paid attention. And guess what? Since this is so much fun, our next mystery, you better pay attention, because remember, it is going to be Mother's Day weekend, and I'm gonna leave some hidden eggs and hidden clues for you to find it, and we're gonna do a weekly check at the live show to check if you're paying attention. You can find the clues to win some awesome prizes. So that's my plan for you for the next mystery. And also, I love to always hear from you for next year. If you want to do something, just let me know. I love to see if I can come up with a mystery for you guys. For this year, I'm already planned out. I know exactly what we're doing, so don't tell me, because I don't want to be distracted. But for next time, I love to hear it from you. Okay, so my question is, tell me, Erin, do you have ideas how we should quiz our friends? Since
Oh,
yeah,
what about how much backing is required if you did the extra border?
how much backing is required if you need the extra border? Excellent, Erin. Let's
we
see
all
if you're
remember.
listening. Yes.
Alrighty.
So that's gonna be my first one. How much backing is required if you need that extra border? And I already know your next question.
Marcia.
Awesome, Marsha, you won my favorite yellow fabric markers. Now, my next question is, how many dark fat quarters and how many light fat quarters you need for this mystery quilt?
That's a great question.
Tough one. That was the first thing I asked you guys to get. How many fat quarters, dark and light, you needed for this awesome mystery quilt?
Mike said he's going to have to go look it up.
Michael, you are not paying attention. And just as you are trying to figure it out, I wanted to. Yes.
Dottie got it.
Daddy,
Is it right?
congratulations. How many?
12 and 8.
12 and 8. You need 12 dark and 8 light. You can make this quilt in green shades. Just get 12 dark fat quarters and 8 light, and then additionally you need a 1 yard of a background, all scraps if you wanna. So I tell you, I have been watching on Instagram how many wonderful friends have been making these quilts and reposting. And by the way, I'm gonna do a second little contest. If you are making the quilt, post your pictures. I'm gonna surprise one person on Instagram with a really nice prize. So keep posting your pictures, and I'm watching, I'm reposting, I'm tagging you. I'm loving it that you are working so hard. So keep posting. So, and our last question is, and this is something personal, whose birthday is today? let's see if you guys follow me, if you know whose birthday is today. Somebody super special in my family. She loves yellow. Yes, and it's she. Whose birthday is today? And I wanted to wish her very, very, very happy birthday. Do you guys know whose birthday is today? Are we gonna have to come up with a different question?
Oh,
Erin?
hold on. They're starting to come in.
They're
Let's see
starting
what
to
we've
come
got.
in.
There's a delay.
This is somebody super special. She's sweet. She's kind. She's the middle one. There's some help.
Oh,
Yeah.
Marie Suzanne McGee.
Suzanne McGee knew it.
Marie
Oh,
Suzanne McGee.
Marie Suzanne McGee, thank you so much for remembering my Anna's birthday. My daughter's Anna. It has her birthday today. Happy birthday, Anna. I'm so proud of you, kiddo. So proud of you. I don't know if you guys noticed it. Anna made it into the red carpet last weekend, so we're super excited about it. It was the after party at Vanity Fair that my Anna was there, so I'm very excited about it. And happy birthday, Anna. And this is gonna be our last prize. Thank you so much for joining in, and I very much appreciate you guys. Thank you for being patient with me, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Happy quilting, and I look forward to quilting with you. And we're gonna have another live show next week on Friday, live from the retreat. Tune in. You're gonna want to see the fun and exciting things that we